Hello, how are you all doing? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Wayne. If it's your first time here, I'm glad you could join me. Right, I've got Star-Spangled Banner, as you've never heard it. It's on a channel called Mona Rose. I'll give it a subscribe and a like. Been reading through the comments, loving all the comments, so thank you very much. I've been reading, writing down suggestions as well. I've written down loads. I've still got loads more comments to bloody read and get them suggestions too. But things like Boat Lift, Untold, the Untold Story. Jesus Christ, I can't read. Boat Lift, Untold Tale of 9/11 Resilience. I've seen loads of documentaries on 9/11, like most of us, if not all of us, have seen over the years, but I've not seen that one, so I'm looking forward to doing that. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff that I want to check out on this channel. It ain't going to all be happy stuff, is it? Like watching NFL or, I don't know, all the happy stuff. Food tasting and that. But I don't know, the Untold Story of Resilience, happy ending, resilience just sounds happy. I don't know, we'll find out when we come to that one. That should be in the next few days anyway. But I've got loads of things written down, and there's loads more that I need to write down in the comments already. So yeah, keep them coming. Right. Oh yeah, it's a suggestion as well, and it made me chuckle when I read this name. Rod Wheeler. Rod Wheeler. It reminded me of this guy from one of my favourite magazines as a kid from the late 80s, early 90s, and a game as well, Viz the Game. If you've never heard of it, go and Google it, Viz the Game especially. It's mental, absolutely mental. For a game at late 80s, early 90s as well, the graphics were so good on it. I can't remember if it was Spectrum or the Amiga. Brilliant game. Mental, very crazy though. But anyway, we're here for this. Star-Spangled Banner. One thing I do know about it, it was a song that posh people used to sing back in Britain in the 17 or 1800s. The melody, anyway, I don't mean the song that you guys have got for your national anthem. The melody was a British drinking song for posh people, I believe. They probably used to get drunk in the ye old inn and on the way home beat up a few peasants. Singing it, I don't know. But I don't know what the original words to it were. I believe so anyway. I think I'm right in that. I might have just made that up, but I don't think I did. I think it became the Star-Spangled Banner in the early 1900s at some point. But anyway, I'm not sure of the words in this, but it's actually quite long, this as well, isn't it? So, is there a story behind it? Why don't I just watch it and I'll learn, won't I? Enough of that rabbiting. Anyway, I hope you're all good. Having a marvellous day. I am, but I've left my tea to go cold. I can't make another one. It's treasonous to throw it away. The irony in this, what I'm about to say. Sorry for pausing straight away. And this comment is about pausing. Yeah, I'm reading in the comments about me pausing. Most of you are like, yeah, if you got something to say, pause. That's what we watch for, to hear what you've got to say. But there was one that didn't want me to pause, so it's a bit of a battlefield at the minute. I'll find me balance. The one thing that I do that really annoys me, I always seem to press play as I'm at the end of what I'm saying, so it kind of blends in, and I should finish saying what I'm saying before I press play. That's the main one for me. Right. I've shut up talking, now play. And drink me cold tea. The Star-Spangled Banner as you've never heard it.
There was a lawyer once. His name was Francis Scott Key. He penned a song that I'm sure you're aware of. You've seen it. It's in most hymnals throughout our churches. It's called the national anthem. It is our song as an American. We go, however, to a ball game. We stand in our church services and we sing the words of that song, and they float over our minds and our lips, and we don't even realize what we're singing. Most of us have memorized it as a child, but we've never really thought about what it means. Let me tell you a story.
See, and I bet that's true, innit? I bet most of you guys know your national anthem. I don't know. God Save the Queen. Or King now, apparently. God Save the Queen. That's about all bit I know about national anthem. I bet if we was to do a poll over here, what we should have as our national anthem, we see it as our second national anthem, Rule Britannia. That's a much better song than our national anthem. But yeah, as I said, I don't know the words to ours.
Francis Scott Key was a lawyer in Baltimore. The colonies were engaged in vicious conflict with the mother country, Britain. Because of this conflict and the protractedness of it, they had accumulated prisoners on both sides. The American colonies had prisoners and the British had prisoners. And the American government initiated a move. They went to the British and they said, let us negotiate for the release of these prisoners. They said, we want to send a man out to discuss this with you. They were holding the American prisoners in boats.
I don't know what I was expecting to get from this, but this is 100% not what I was expecting.
About 1,000 yards offshore. And they said, we want to send a man by the name of Francis Scott Key. He will come out and negotiate to see if we can make a mutual exchange. On the appointed day, in a rowboat, he went out to this boat and he negotiated with the British officials. And they reached a conclusion that men could be exchanged on a one-for-one basis. Francis Scott Key, jubilant with the fact that he'd been successful, went down below in the boats, and what he found was a cargo hold full of humanity, men. And he said, men, I've got news for you tonight. You're free. He said, tonight I have negotiated successfully your return to the colonies. He said, you'll be taken out of this boat, out of this filth, out of your chains. As he went back up on board to arrange for their passage to the shore, the admiral came and he said, we have a slight problem. He said, we will still honor our commitment to release these men, but it'll be merely academic after tonight. It won't matter. And Francis Scott Key said, what do you mean? He said, well, Mr. Key, he said, tonight we have laid an ultimatum upon the colonies. Your people will either capitulate and lay down the colors of that flag that you think so much of, or you see that fort right over there, Fort McHenry? He said, we're going to remove it from the face of the earth. He said, how are you going to do that? He said, if you will, scan the horizon of the sea. And as he looked, he could see hundreds of little dots. And he said, that's the entire British war fleet. He said, all of the gunpowder, all of the armament is being called upon to demolish that fort.
Jesus.
It will be here within striking distance in a matter of about 2.5 hours. He said, the war is over. These men would be free anyway.
I don't know about Star-Spangled Banner, as never you heard it before. A story that I've 100% never heard before. I love my history too, as I've said a couple of times before, but I'm not very good at it. I really enjoy it, but I ain't good at it.
He said, you can't shell that fort. He said, that's a large fort. He said, it's full of women and children. He says, it's predominantly not a military fort. He said, don't worry about it.
Is that what it looked like?
They said, we've left them a way out. And he said, what's that? He said, do you see that flag way up on the rampart? He said, we have told them that if they will lower that flag, the shelling will stop immediately. And we'll know that they've surrendered, and you'll now be under British rule. Francis Scott Key went down below and told the men what was about to happen. And they said, how many ships? He said, hundreds. The ships got closer. Francis Scott Key went back up on top and he said, men, I'll shout down to you what's going on as we watch. As twilight began to fall, and as the haze hung over the ocean as it does at sunset, suddenly the British war fleet unleashed. He says the sound was deafening. There were so many guns that there were no reliefs. He said it was absolutely impossible to talk or hear. He said suddenly the sky, although dark, was suddenly lit. And he says from down below, all he could hear the men, the prisoners, saying was, tell us where the flag is. What have they done with the flag? Is the flag still flying over the rampart? Tell us. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours into the shelling. Every time the bomb would explode and it would be close to the flag, they could see the flag in the illuminated red glare of that bomb, and Francis Scott Key would report down to the men below, it's still up. It's not down.
What if I could build an app that works
I'll edit
my
this
way
out if
with
it's too
44?
long.
My work moves fast.
And it
My
wasn't.
tasks.
The admiral came and he said,
You
"Your
weren't
people are
backing down,
insane."
were
He
you?
said, what's the matter with them? He said, don't they understand this is an impossible situation? Francis Scott Key said he remembered what George Washington had said. He said the thing that sets the American Christian apart from all other people in the world is he will die on his feet before he'll live on his knees. The Admiral said, we have now instructed all of the guns to focus on the rampart to take that flag down. He said, we don't understand something. Our reconnaissance tells us that that flag has been hit directly again and again and again, and yet it's still flying. We don't understand that. But he said, now we're about to bring every gun for the next 3 hours to bear on that point. Francis Scott Key said the barrage was unmerciful. All that he could hear was the men down below praying. The prayer, God, keep that flag flying where we last saw it. The sunrise came.
And it did.
He said there was a heavy mist hanging over the land, but the rampart was tall enough. There stood the flag, completely nondescript, in shreds. The flagpole itself was at a crazy angle, but the flag was still at the top. Francis Scott Key went aboard and immediately went into Fort McHenry to see what had happened. And what he'd found had happened was that that flagpole and that flag had suffered repetitious direct hits. And when it had fallen, but men, fathers, who knew what it meant for that flag to be on the ground, although knowing that all of the British guns were trained on it, walked over and held it up humanly until they died. Their bodies were removed and others took their place. Francis Scott Key said what held that flagpole in place at that unusual angle were patriots' bodies. He penned the song, "Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Or the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that the flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet fly and wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? The debt was demanded. The price, it was paid.
Oh, say, can you see?
I'll save you from my sin.
By the dawn's
Early
light, what so proud?
I need to get me a USA flag. Put up there with
at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets break through, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Beautiful song in its own right, to be fair, isn't it? Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. Right, I love that, but I don't know what I was expecting. If I was expecting anything, I thought it was going to be how the flag came about, how the national anthem came about. You know, I didn't think there was going to be a story about the literal keeping a flag in position, just all resilience and what's the other word? I forgot the other word. It was in my head a minute ago. Determination and resilience. But yeah, crazy, absolutely mental. But yeah, I've got loads more to be checking out, and I'll get on with it. There was something else I would say, but I didn't pause because I felt like I was pausing too much. I've actually forgot. Yeah, no, that I was saying about it being a drinking song back in the day. I didn't mean the words. I just mean the actual melody itself. I don't know what the words to it were, or what the story is behind that. But anyway, I massively enjoyed that. Just keep on coming with the comments and suggestions. And if you haven't checked out this, check it out. You've got to. It's funny. It's funny. Well, anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Bye.